My New Year's resolution, Dr. Robert Cassar, eartheracademy.com. Happy New Year's. It's January 1st, 2020, and I'm in California. And this is the year that I'm going to rebuild myself. I've been doing a detoxification and cleansing diet for about 15 years now. And now it's time to, as it is for a lot of people this year, to rebuild yourself. Because we can only detox so long and we can only cleanse so long before, well, we start falling apart. So this is, again, the year for rebuilding yourself. Hey guys, you got the koi here. I'm at my father's house over here in California. Let's feed these guys a little bit of food. There you go, guys. Have it up. Your New Year's breakfast for you. There you go. So, you know, this is a big year for everyone right now. And it is, for some of us, it's to build ourselves back up. And for some of us, it's to actually build, ourselves in a cleaner way. So I've been cleansing myself for 15 years, as you've noticed, eartheracademy.com. We've been sharing detoxification and rejuvenation secrets for a long time. So let's go inside the house here. So this is going to be sort of like my new beginnings. I'm going to open up the door. This is 2020. Let's knock on the castle door. And let's go on in. So, you know, there's always a new beginnings to be able to start your world out. And, you know, life is really but a lot of choices. And when you've got a lot of choices, that means that you've got, well, some critical thinking to do. Here's my brothers and here's my pops. And, you know, 2020, I've done a lot of thinking, over the last just the last few hours. 2020, remember, just turned January 1st last night. So, you know, life is, like I said, a lot of choices. And when you've got choices, well, you're going to need some critical thinking. So my journey so far is that I have been doing a detoxification and cleansing diet for a long time and teaching that and learning all different types of methods and different things that, well, would help people in a detoxificational and cleansing state. So, you know, this year I'm in the year of rebuilding. And rebuilding the body, is a whole different thing than taking it down. So I'm going to be in an anabolic system this year, and I'll teach you what I'm doing this year. Because a lot of things that we're doing, let's go out this door here. A lot of things that we're doing are, it's windy, got everything. Okay, got a guy fishing on the lake over there. But everything, you know, we're doing in this world here either is catabolizing or anabolizing. And catabolizing means that you're taking things away. Anabolizing means you're growing them. So, like I said, this year I'm going to be focusing on anabolizing and rebuilding myself, because I really went ahead and actually, as many vegans has many vegetarians have, and just different people on a plant-based diet, they've pretty much catabolized themselves to falling apart. Remember, our bodies can only cleanse so long before we start to fall apart. And this is the year for me to be able to cleanse and, rebuild at the same time. So rebuilding is a totally different program, is because I'm going to eat different types of foods. Like this morning, I just had an anabolic breakfast, my Happy New Year's breakfast. And what was that? I had about a half a pound of salmon. Let me see, how do I get out of here? Half a pound of salmon. And I had maybe a quarter pound of lamb, 3 fertile eggs. Everything's grass-fed too, though. And there we go. Now we're out. And this is an anabolic diet. And of course, an anabolic diet means you don't just eat anabolic food, you got to eat. And you have to work out. So, wow, what a beautiful day. So the whole idea to my year this year is to rebuild myself. And it may be something that, well, you're going to have to do too, is because a lot of people have catabolized themselves on a plant-based diet. Remember, plants will detox you and they will cleanse you. They will not build you, though. Okay, a lot of people say that they've been building muscle with, veganism. Well, you might be able to build a little bit, but you will never build anything beyond just survival muscles. And once in a while, you may get the freak, okay, the person that really can break down different types of foods, like plants, and maybe use them in a better way than the average person can. But in general, people cannot go ahead and really make plants bioavailable just because they're just not. So this is why I used a lot of superfoods when I was on my cleansing diet and detoxification diet. Remember, I have done, literally thousands of videos on different recipes, from, smoothies to dinners to snacks to, just different philosophies that have to do with detoxing. So this year we're going to get into rebuilding the body. And rebuilding the body is a little bit different than catabolizing the body. And I've been on now a anabolistic, which means, anabolic, to grow, diet for about 6 months. And I've gained about 20 pounds because I got down to 127 pounds. And that's pretty measly. I was falling apart. And I had a lot of different problems, which I'll get into on later videos, but I had a lot of gastrointestinal problems, a lot of just IBS, a lot of, mild depression, you can say, just not feeling fulfilled, not feeling whole. And just over the last 6 months, by replenishing myself with the micro-essential nutrients that I was missing in plants. Like I said, guys, you can only go so far on a plant-based diet. Plant-based diets are a good cleansing diet, but I don't think they're really that good of a diet to think that you can, live a thriving life. You can for a little while until your body starts to lose all its storages. Okay, vitamin A, D, E, K, taurine, creatinine, okay, all of the different essential, really micro elements that are only found in animal products. And I started pre-aging quicker than I should have over the last 3 years. But for about 12 years or so, I really, I pretty much thrived pretty good on a vegetarian, vegan, I call it a lacto-ovo vegan diet, because that's all I was doing was vegetables and eggs and a little bit of dairy and cheese. But that's it, okay? And anybody really who's doing a vegan diet, you got to really watch yourselves, guys. Just because the Game Changers is pushing you to become vegan doesn't mean that that's the way that you should go, okay? Because our physiology can absorb plants, but we're really not, ruminant animals. And ruminant animals are animals that have a special gut that can break down and ferment vegetables and make them bioavailable. Now, we've done lots of videos on fermentation because that's one of the ways that, I had ferments every day. That's what sort of stretched my longevity out in being able to do a plant-based diet, is because once you start to ferment the plants, then you start to make them not only more bioavailable, but you take a lot of the plant toxins out, like phytic acid. And I was using alchemy also in a lot of my recipes to be able to break down some of the oxalates. And we'll get into that also. Remember, oxalates are in a lot of plants, especially like kale, spinach, cacao. I mean, a lot of different greens, a lot of leafy greens, mustards, collard leaves. Then you've got lectins, you've got all these different types of irritants that come from plants if they're not processed correctly. So a raw vegan diet is not really a good diet for a lot of people to follow for a long term. So think of a vegan diet is what I've come to see is a spiritual fast. And it's just like water fasting. We've got a water fasting group starting January 15th. And you can only go so far on water, just like you can only go so far on plants. You can only go so far on a fast before you start, fasting yourself away. So, life is like I said, a set of choices. And we should be able to learn from each other. And I've been doing, like I said, plants for 15 years. And I can tell you a lot of secrets that I've learned so you don't have to fall into the same pit holes. Because once you get malnourished, it takes sometimes years, if you even can, to replenish yourself, to rebuild yourself. Okay? And, don't let that happen to you. Because if that happens to you, then you know what happens? Well, you may get sick like I did. And I had a lot of problems with my intestinal tract. A lot of bloating, gas, blood in my stools, just really not being able to digest any food. And this happens to a lot of people that are on the serious vegan, vegetarian diet, because we become not only malnourished, but we become irritated from a lot of the plant toxins that we have in our bodies. So, my battery just went off here. So, and I've got, since I've been here, I've had a lot of drippings here because there's a lot of pollution in California. Today, what a beautiful thing. Okay, this morning they really, really did a lot of aerosols this morning, but it's all over there. You can see it. It's all gone that way. But this morning, boy, they really hit the sky hard. So, Happy New Year's, guys. And my, like I said, resolution this year is to rebuild myself. And that's going to be a whole different set of not only videos, but education. Why did I need to rebuild myself? And there are certain secrets that we need to learn from each other in this, what we call, theme of eating plants. Ruminant animals can digest plants very easily because they have a specialized gut. We do not have that gut. We don't have a rumen in our specialized gut. Our gut is a completely different type of gut, okay, similar to a wolf, and we can break down heavy-duty proteins. But it's really hard for us to break down vegetables, okay, or insoluble fiber. And like I said, we'll get into a lot of different things that I've learned along the way here. And, again, life is a lot of choices. And you're going to see that a lot of people, okay, are going to have to change their diet this year, and or they're going to have to think about changing their diet this year. It's just because, like I said, you can only go so far on a plant-based diet. Even though they may tell you that it's suitable for all ages and all races and all creeds, I personally don't think so. For some people, you can go ahead and have a lot of plants in your diet, but you do also need to make sure that you follow a nutritional program that is going to help you, give yourself some of the nutrition that is not in the foods that you're eating. Because most of the plant-based foods that we eat, remember, their bioavailability is very poor. So there's all different types of plant defense mechanisms, and these plant defense mechanisms are real. Remember, plants don't really want anybody to eat them. Seeds, nuts, okay, grains. unless like we did in the old days. You have to process the poisons out of them, process a lot of the things that are in the plant that makes us sick in time, that will make us sick. So, okay guys, anyways, New Year's resolution for myself is just to really rebuild myself this year in 2020. And we'll get into, like I said, a lot of videos, but there are a lot of people on the fence right now and they're not feeling good, guys. Well, maybe it's because you're malnourished. Maybe it's because you have irritated your intestinal tract too much with all of these different, well, pesticides, insecticides, and herbicides. No matter what kind of food you're eating, remember, there are not only pesticides on the plants that are sprayed on them. They're called, you know, xeno, okay? You can call them outside sources of pesticides, but there's also endogenous pesticides, okay? And those are the plant pesticides that are grown in the plant. So this is why herbs, spices, resins, different types of plants, they are more medicinal instead of nutritional. They do have nutrition, but the bioavailability, like I said, is very poor. And, well, we will find out in the future how many people are going to want to jump on the rebuilding wagon. And it is good for people to go on plants for, like I've always touted, 180 days and see what happens to you when you dry yourself out from a lot of different poisons that you've accumulated from, and parasites that you've accumulated from the standard American diet, which of course is an extreme diet. And the diet like I'm on right now, I'm not taking in any nuts, grains, seeds, okay? I'm staying away from pretty much any starches or anything like that. And I'm only having right now animal products by themselves, and that's fish, eggs, cheese, butter, okay? Anything that's grass-fed organ meats, and fruit when I work out. Only before I work out, though. And again, I've gained 20 pounds over the last 6 months, and I'll show you my video that I did from 127 pounds to basically 147 pounds in 6 months, which is pretty miraculous. Okay, so anyways, guys, 2020 resolution is to, for me, rebuild myself. For some of you, it may be to break down yourself. You may be overweight, you may be just toxic, okay? And I got malnourished, and I got toxic from a lot of the plant toxins too. So I'm taking a break right now, and I was only gonna do this type of a diet for 90 days, but since it changed me so good, I'm hanging with it longer, and we'll see where it goes. But for right now, wow, I'm rebuilding myself. And it's really helping me a lot. And for some of you people, like I said, remember, we're all on different journeys here. And my journey for the last 15 years was to detox myself and show people how to learn how to detox and to really, you know, be a teacher, but also be an experimenter with everybody else, seeing if we could actually utilize the plants in ways that would be beneficial for us long term. So just remember, plants cleanse us and detox us. Okay, they're catabolic. And you can look at animal products as being anabolistic, which means that you can get growth out of those. But if you mix them together, and like I said, we'll get into a lot of these different videos, then you can take something that's catabolic and anabolic, and you're not going to really get any effect as far as muscle growth. And it's because one is for growth and one is to take away, catabolic. And it is all an experiment no matter what we do. So I'm just going to show you what I've been, well, experimenting with and show you the reported findings. But then again, guys, definitely you want to really, you know, be careful when you start doing any type of a diet long term. Is because every diet is an experiment upon yourself. There is no one way to do anything because everybody's individual and different. So just because, remember, the big system wants to push you into doing something, you should always step back and say, why does the big system want me to do what they're pushing me to do? Okay, remember, the system here is not as, well, giving as we think it is. it's taking more than giving. And so we have to have a lot of critical thinking, because there's a lot of choices coming at us. Remember, to see 2020 is to be able to not only see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears, but to go ahead and actually see what's happening to other people that are doing these types of motions too. Like I said, if you're a vegan for 5 years, well, great, check it out and look and see if they've gained momentum, and look and see, you know, between a lot of different people, as if some of those people, there's another birds over there, if some of those people basically thrived or just survived. And so we'll see you guys on the next video. But again, 2020, this is the year for me to rebuild. And you know, just because I'm rebuilding doesn't mean you have to rebuild, because I've already been doing the plant-based diet for 15 years, and it did help me a lot in many different ways. It super helped me out. But then again, I went as far as I could, and I hit the wall nutritionally, and I got sick. And so now it's time for me to backpedal and share with you a lot of my reported findings. Okay guys, that's it before my battery runs out. Wow, what a beautiful day. And I've lived on this lake here. Okay, I grew up on this lake from 1966, Lake Sherwood. I fished this thing thousands of times. It's one of the best lakes in the world here for bass fishing. Okay, I mean, jumping off all those rocks. I used to have my fort on the big rock at the top there called Boney Mountain over there. And there's our fire department right there. Okay, Lake Sherwood Fire Department. And what a beautiful thing to come back to see a lot of childhood memories. And of course, everything's changed a lot, but it still brings me back lots of good memories. Okay guys, we'll see you on the next video again in 2020. Let's see what you're gonna do this year. Are you gonna rebuild yourself, or are you gonna break yourself down? Because some of you need to break yourselves down. Remember, a lot of people are obese. A lot of people have super amounts of toxicity in their body. And if you do, well, then the plant-based diet is really good for you to do, but there's still secrets with that. And if you've cannibalized yourself, then guess what? It's time to build yourself back up again and see what happens. Okay, that's it. We'll see you on the next video. Aloha again. What a beautiful day. Woohoo!